Hi, my name is James Kaufman from the University of Connecticut, and I'm very sorry to not be able to make it in person, but I'm very honored to be able to record a small, brief talk and chat about some ideas and creativity that will hopefully help spur some ideas. Now, I think we're at a really exciting point in creativity research. We have some basic accepted things that we agree on. We have the definition, so something should be both new and task appropriate. And we generally agree that there are the four P's, or the person, process, press, and product, or else, as Vlad Glavinov has recently introduced, the idea of the five A's, which is the actor, artifact, and action, along with the audience, as well as the affordances. So in other words, the things that we need to be creative. We've long had the distinction between big C and little c. More recently, Ron Beghetto and I have talked about the idea of mini C, or personal creativity, and pro C, or expert level creativity, as being other ways to think about this question. We have a number of creative measurements that are standardly used, from divergent thinking to remote associates test to the consensual assessment technique, and yet I think there's also quite a room for more work in this. Now, creativity is studied by an awful lot of people. You have psychology, of course. You have cognitive psychology, social psychology, clinical, IO, developmental neuropsychology, school psych, educational psychology. All these groups study psychology, and all these groups study creativity. You have education, the whole field, teacher education, gifted and talented. Plus you have business, engineering, computer science, neuroscience, sociology, economics, anthropology. You have whole fields like computational creativity or aesthetics that look very carefully at nuances of what we study. And I think one of the biggest challenges facing us as a field is that we need to communicate. These fields need to get better at reading our literature, but we need to get better at reading their literature and at communicating our ideas in venues that everybody would be attending. And so it's not just being cross-discipline, and cross-discipline is very important, but it's easy to do something cross-discipline and then have it not work because everybody stays in their own silos. But with collaborations, with purposefully connecting with different types of researchers on projects, this is a way that there will be more and more things that will take the field further. What else? One is to keep going to these type of conferences. There are the broad conferences, so there's APA or APS or AERA or NAGC, and then there are these smaller conferences where people can actually talk and connect. There, I think, would be great if in the future we could have more creativity-specific large group meetings. I think that particularly, for example, as those of us affiliated with APA have seen the hours allotted to us shrink and shrink, it makes sense to do something that's creativity only, much as this conference is focusing on creativity, innovation, and entrepreneurship. I think that when it comes to definition and measurement, we end up running the risk of becoming like the blind person and the elephant, in that we each have our little bit and we forget what else is going on. But that said, there are many topics that remain and that are very exciting. Some are rooted in individual differences. So what are the biological underpinnings of creativity? What are the underlying cognitive processes? The need for multiple methods, such as neuroscientific, physiological, and traditional. There are evolutionary psychology perspectives. Why have creativity and art evolved and lasted over time? Similarly, just as we can zoom in on the individual, so too can we zoom out and explore the larger picture. What are the socio-cultural factors that most align for creativity? How does politics or economics or global climates affect things? How about technology and media? How can we harness computers and the internet to best study creativity, best measure creativity? At some point, there will be a creativity assessment that can be not just done online, which is common, but can be scored online automatically and be valuable. And I think we are not that far away. Already, researcher Val Shute and her colleagues are doing what's called stealth assessment of creativity by having people play video games and seeing how they play them. This is the exact kind of stuff that I think is fascinating and we should be doing more of. How does creativity in these other areas intertwine? So from creativity and aesthetics, how does the experience of art lead to the making of art? To things like creativity and other constructs, such as personality, intelligence, or motivation, things like that. How can creativity be improved? What interventions work? Can we replicate our field's main findings? Can we keep finding consistency across samples, populations, countries, measures, domains? This is a field affecting science as a whole, this lack of replication. We must make sure that our field does not succumb to this. There's also general combating misinformation. The average layperson is interested in creativity but has so many wrong ideas because so many of the voices out there aren't researchers. I would love to see more books by actual researchers, and we've seen several of these, and many of them have been very successful. I'd love to see creativity researchers continue being advocates for the role of creativity in schools, such as curriculums or gifted programs or admissions. How creativity can be used to improve well-being, from creative therapies to post-traumatic growth. Developing a better system of nurturing people who want to study creativity, from graduate students and early career folks. My challenge, though, would be to not ask, is creativity important? Because, of course, it's important. And if you start off by saying, I want to prove that creativity is important, that's not an interesting question. It's not even, why is creativity important? Although that's a better question. It is creativity more important than all of the other things that we could be spending time, attention, and money on? It's not enough to say that creativity is important. It's not enough to show that creativity is linked to positive outcomes. It's that creativity has to be more linked, or else we're wasting time. Would you rather have a creative child or a happy child? Or a smart child? Or a lucky child? Would you rather hire a creative worker or a motivated worker? Or a loyal worker or a moral worker? There are no easy answers. There is no natural yes or no to any of these questions. But these are the kinds of larger questions that I would love to see the field start addressing and start really integrating everybody's work and being better aware of who is studying creativity, where are they, and what are they saying, so we don't reinvent the wheel. I think the conferences like this are the exact way to go. I'm deeply sorry to not be able to be there in person and chat, but I am very excited to hear what happens, and I look forward to coming to future conferences. Thank you so much.